Hello, everyone. This is Grace. It is November the 21st, 2019, and we are going to be talking about the key of David, what it is, what it means. Um, but the reason for this video is um, if you saw the video about Zerubbabel, chapter 4, then that led us to the key of David, and we're going to go there for a further explanation. But I had this verse. There was a verse here. Here it is. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts has sent me unto you. If you recall, I wasn't certain about the meaning of that verse. I thought it meant the Christians. It does not. It's actually speaking of the Church of Philadelphia. When we look at it, you'll see it more clearly. But the Church of Philadelphia in 1844 delivered the first angel's message. That was considered laying the foundation for the house. They laid the foundation for the house. It's actually bigger than that, way bigger. But they're going to be resurrected, and they're going to finish it. They're going to be resurrected during the gathering, and they are going to take the message out along with the other living saints. It says somewhere in Zechariah 4 that the house of Judah is going to be built up before the other house. We're not going to go there, but I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says one house is going to be built up so that the other house won't glorify itself over the current one, which is exactly what would happen. I mean, if we start seeing old saints, I mean, I just followed Daniel around like a little puppy. If he was resurrected and I was there, I'd be like, I'm just gonna stand here and watch you give testimony. But yeah, so we're not gonna go there. That doesn't have anything to do with our study, but that's what it is. It's actually the Church of Philadelphia that they're speaking of, having laid the foundation of the house, and that's going to finish it. But as I said, it's way bigger than that. Let's go ahead and get started with our study. You'll see what I mean. So the key of David is going to be the focus of this study. And this will expand our view of Zechariah once we have an understanding of this. Let's go ahead and read it. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder, so he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. And they shall hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity, from the vessels of cups, even to all the vessels of flagons. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall the nail that is fastened in a sure place be removed, and be cut down and fall, and the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for the Lord has spoken it. Now I'll explain all of this to you shortly. But right now, we're going to focus in on the key to the house of David. And in order to do that, we're going to look at some of the promises we're going to look at all of the promises that were made to David. It's going to seem a little bit tedious, but it helps us to know what these things are so that we can rule them out as being the key of David. And maybe we should do the key of David first. Let's do the key of David first. And no, never mind, because I'll just lose you if I just give you the key of David first. And I think it's essential that we look at all of these things. So we're going to start with, let me just tell you before we go and look at these keys, I made a note here in my notes. You can go into the New Testament and see all of these same promises are made for the key of David. They're made to Yahushua. Acts 13:33. Let's go there. Let's just go there and see. But God raised him from the dead, and he was seen many days of them which came up with him from Galilee to Jerusalem, who are his witnesses unto the people. And we declare unto you glad tidings, how that the promise which was made unto the fathers, God has fulfilled the same unto us their children, in that he has raised up Jesus again, as it is written in the second Psalms, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. And as concerning that he raised him up from the dead, now no more to return to corruption. He said on this wise, I will give you the sure mercies of David. Wherefore he said also in another Psalms, that thou shalt not suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Okay, so let's go to the actual Psalms now. This one, the sure mercies of David, there's two Psalms we're going to look at. There's two verses. One is in Psalms, which gives details of the promise. Here's the original covenant, starting from verse 2. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Thy faithfulness shalt thou establish in the very heavens. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations. Selah. So then we're going to go down here and look at the details. Psalms 89 verse 19. Then thou spakest in vision to thy Holy One, and says, I have laid help upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. That one can be changed. That's just added in. And I will tell you what, these hymns here, normally in the Old Testament, that's a word that can be used universally. It can be he, she, us, them, we, anybody. In this case, it's not. It's just added in as well. You see, there's no number associated. It's just added in as well. So we will continue though. I have found David my servant, with my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. Mine arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and plague them that hate him. But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the river. He shall cry unto me, Thou art my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Also will I make him my firstborn, which we know is a symbol of the 144,000, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. So let's look at the next promise. Now, when you look at this next promise, you can see it is not to Yahushua, because it is Yahushua that starts off the promise. But you'll see, it's actually to the 144,000. But all of these prophecies have dual fulfillment in Yahushua. You'll understand that a little bit better as we get closer to the definition. You'll see. Just put it on the shelf for now until we finish the study, and you'll see. Isaiah 55 verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that has no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. You see how this is to the 144,000 and not to Yahushua? Okay, we'll go ahead with verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. I don't think that requires much explanation, so we're just going to continue. Verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and a commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run into thee, because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified thee. This is the 144,000 during the time of the gathering. They're going to call a nation that does not know him. We are going to go out to those people, or the 144,000 is, and bring in and teach the truth to the world. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Okay, I don't think we need all that. We don't need all that. My point is that this is to the 144,000. And so are all of these other promises of David. We're not going to look at the New Testament for the promises, because I've given you those scriptures. If you want to go back and look at them, Acts 15, 13, and the verses around there, Acts 2:29. We might actually go to, Acts 2:29 through 33. Yeah. We're just going to look at the promises. Amos 9:8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom. And as soon as you see Amos, this is the prophecy for the future. Okay. Amos 9 verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. We know that this is going to happen in our time. This is the 9th hour church, where the church is purged and cleansed. All the tares are removed, so that Yahweh can have his perfect churches, have his perfect people to represent him. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David. So we have the sure mercies of David. We have the tabernacle of David. We'll continue. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Psalm 16:5. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. Oh, I wanted to point out here. This is almost the exact wording for the promise that's made to the Levites. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou maintainest my lot. I'll show you, but this is the word. This is almost exactly the promise that's made to the Levites and to the high priest. The Lord is their portion. Okay, the lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be removed. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will I suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. So this is the same thing. They're gonna be resurrected from the dead, and once they're resurrected, that's it. They're not gonna die anymore. Once they are holy and cleansed and sealed, they're not going to die anymore. But this, I didn't point it out that this is David that's speaking. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, this is the verse that I was telling you about the promises to the Levites and to the high priests. Numbers 18:20. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. Wherefore Levi has no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as the Lord thy God promised him. And let's go back and read it again. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou maintainest my lot. So it's really counting David. If you pay attention to the words that are given here, it's counting David as a firstborn. Most of you may be familiar with the firstborn and how that works, but just in case you're not, I'll give you the little bit of information I know. I don't know the details, but I know enough. The firstborn child it's considered the head of household. I'm going to have to give you this information anyway. I forgot. The firstborn child is considered the head of household. When the firstborn son, because women didn't really have rights back then. So he would be over taking care of the elderly. He would actually receive, I think, a double portion of the inheritance. And but along with that came a lot of responsibilities, taking care of the parents. Any sisters that were unmarried would be his responsibility. He was considered the spiritual leader in the household. And also the double portion. We know the story of Jacob and Esau, where Jacob received the double portion of the spiritual blessing. So it wasn't always the firstborn, but that's the way it was set up, to where the firstborn, and I think also Manasseh and Ephraim had a switch around as well. But generally speaking, it was the firstborn who received that double portion of the blessing, of the inheritance, and the additional responsibility that came along with that title. So anyway, we will go on. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So this is the throne of David that's being promised here. And we'll say that this is we're going to say that this is specifically Yahushua. I do believe it is. But then it's the promise of the throne. But if you take a look at Revelation 3, this is to the church of Laodicea. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. See? So we have that promise as well. To all of the overcomers, the throne is now Yahushua's. It's his now, because he overcame, but it was his Father's. So it's going to be ours. If we overcome. Is that not right? Okay, now I'm going to get to the good part here. Now, I'm just going to tell you, this is a new teaching as far as I'm concerned anyway. It's quite new. Don't go get your pitchforks and your torches just yet. Just think about it for a little while. Just think about it before you blow up. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You don't have to agree with it. Just think about it. We're going to go up and we're going to get a little bit of a history here. Here, let's start from here. What hast thou here, and whom hast thou here, that thou hast hewn thee out of sepulchre here, as he that heweth him out of sepulchre on high, and that graveth an habitation for himself in a rock? Behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover thee. That's us, that's Ninth Hour Saints. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. I will drive thee from thy station, and from thy state shall he pull thee down. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah. Now, Eliakim, it describes him, we're not going to go there, but if you look it up on your own, it will describe him as over the household. So I couldn't find a whole lot on Eliakim, but that was enough for me to put him as the head of household. So, and to apply to him the firstborn status. That was just enough for me. But you can disagree if you like. That's fine. We'll move on. Isaiah 22 verse 21. And I will clothe him with thy robe and strengthen him with thy girdle. Now that's the robe of the high priest who had the girdle. And I will commit thy government into his hands. Now the government that was committed to Yahushua is the government. We just read the scripture. He has the government on his shoulder or something like that. We're going to go back there and look at that real quick, because I didn't tell you what. Let me just tell you what's on the high priest's shoulder. What's on the high priest's shoulder is there's a stone on his shoulder. I don't remember the details about the stone, but engraven into this the stone here are the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. So he is actually he's calling the government the people, the tribes of Israel. So we'll go on. I will commit thy government into his hands, and he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Now we get to the key to the house of David. But before we read on, we're going to describe what the key to the house of David is. Before we go to 23. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So now, along with the government, the 12 tribes of Israel, he has the key to the house of David. Will I lay upon his shoulder. So he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. Well, there's a similar verse in, hold on a moment, in Revelation, to the church of Philadelphia. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and have kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Okay, so we know that the key to the house of David opens a door that no man can shut. Well, let's see what this door is. Most of you already know this because I've talked about it in a previous study. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that endureth entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porters openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Jesus unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man entereth in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So the door is the door to salvation. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. That's what the door is. Let's look at some of the other scriptures we have here about door. And when they were come, they had gathered the church together. They rehearsed all that God had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. So this is the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 went in, and the door was shut to the other 5. Furthermore, when I came to Troas to preach Christ's gospel, and the door was opened unto me of the Lord, withal praying also for us that God would open unto us a door of utterance to speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am also in bonds. Okay, so that's what we have for the door. So we see that, okay, you know what? My neighbor is, we're going to stop here, and then we will pick up. Let me see if I can get through this. There's a little noise in the background. We'll just suffer through it for now. But so you see that the key to the house of David, the door that it opens, is the door to salvation. I just want to make that point clear. And we're going to stop here, and we're going to have a part 2 because I have a lot of noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. But the key to the house of David opens the door to salvation. And this is the key that has now been given to Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah. Okay, we're going to stop here. Yahweh bless.